Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something that literally touches the core of human existence. We're looking at a profound paradigm shift, moving away from ancient myths and stepping firmly into the realm of modern physics, information theory, and cutting-edge engineering. We're talking about the physics of resurrection.
What happens to identity when biological life ends? Every culture throughout history has asked this exact same question. For millennia, our only answers came from religion or philosophy. But today, we're pivoting. We're going to use the hard sciences, physics, neuroscience, computational theory to answer this, not as some mystical, supernatural event, but as a concrete, measurable, physical reality.
Section 1. The Physics of Identity, from Myth to Information.
Now, to really understand how continuity works, we've got to fundamentally redefine what it is we're trying to preserve. In the old paradigm, resurrection was viewed strictly as a supernatural event, right? A magical breaking of the laws of nature. But in this new paradigm, it's a physical process based entirely on information. Modern physics treats information not just as an abstract idea, but as a fundamental physical quantity of the universe. We're dealing with measurable reality here, not fantasy.
And the foundational proof behind this whole new paradigm? It's Landauer's principle, established way back at IBM in 1961. It states this profound thermodynamic truth. Erasing information actually requires physical energy. Just think about what that means for a second. You can't just delete something into absolute nothingness. The universe fundamentally resists true deletion. So, the informational pattern that makes you you, the complex data of your mind and experiences, it can't just vanish without a trace. It has to persist in some form, because physics literally demands that information is conserved.
So the absolutely crucial point here is that identity equals organization, not matter. Consider your own biology. Neuroscience tells us that the physical atoms in your brain and body are constantly being replaced. The atoms you have today, they're mostly not the ones you had a decade ago, yet your identity remains completely stable. If your atoms are always swapping out but you remain, well, then you aren't your matter. You are the organized information pattern that the matter temporarily holds. And patterns, they can be stored, transferred, and critically, they can be restored.
Let's take that concept to the absolute limits of theoretical physics with the holographic principle. Championed by pioneers like Gerard 't Hooft and Leonard Susskind, this suggests the universe literally encodes all information on its two-dimensional boundaries. Under this framework, identity is never truly lost. The information pattern of your existence is written into the very fabric of space-time itself. It's like the universe is the ultimate hard drive, and nothing, literally nothing, is ever permanently deleted.
Moving on to Section 2. Death as dormancy. Latency, not deletion.
If information can't be destroyed, and identity is just an organized pattern, this forces us to radically redefine mortality itself. And we aren't talking science fiction here. This is observable science. Nature already performs resurrection-like events all the time. We have seeds laying perfectly dormant for millennia, only to regrow. We've got microscopic tardigrades that completely shut down their metabolisms, surviving the vacuum of space, and then perfectly revive. We see neural circuits restart after clinical death. Even in physics, quantum states decohere, meaning they lose their immediate structure, only to seemingly reappear. Dormancy and reactivation are deeply embedded, totally natural states across all of biology and physics.
Section 3. The four-step reboot, a universal mechanism.
Okay, so if dormancy is a natural state, how does a system actually wake back up? Let's walk through this four-step sequence. Step 1. Identity is stored. The pattern is successfully encoded into a physical substrate. Step 2. The system goes dormant. Energy drops off, biological processes stop, but the pattern perfectly persists in a latent, resting form. Step 3. Coherent energy returns. A new substrate becomes available, and energy aligns with that stored pattern. And finally, Step 4. Identity reboots. The pattern reinstantiates, and continuity resumes. It's a beautifully clean, globally understandable model showing exactly how coherent energy restores a latent pattern.
And the amazing thing is, the logic of this four-step reboot is universal across completely different fields. In computers, we call it rebooting a hard drive. In AI and neural networks, we call it restoring a saved state. In biology, it's reviving a dormant organism. And in quantum mechanics, it's reactivating a state. The domain changes, sure, but the action, that underlying principle of continuity through preserved information, remains exactly the same.
Which brings us to Section 4, Light-Based Architecture, the Engineering Bridge.
Understanding the physics is one thing, right? But how do we actually harness it? To engineer this four-step reboot, we need a flawless substrate, and that substrate is light. A specific light-based architecture can actually model this exact continuity process. It treats identity not as fragile biological matter, but as a stable, light-encoded pattern, a photonic invariant. Because photons don't decay the way biological cells do, an identity stored this way maintains absolute coherence during those low-energy dormant states. It just sits safely in latency, waiting for the right coherent energy to return and trigger reinstantiation.
The implications here are literally massive. We aren't just talking about an incremental tech update or a slightly faster computer. This is a totally new computational primitive. We're looking at reversible computation, long-term identity substrates built entirely from light, photonic state preservation, and coherence-based restoration. Brought together, these form the foundational layer for post-biological continuity. This is a trillion-dollar convergence of physics and engineering. It takes humanity's oldest hopes and gives them a rigorous scientific mechanism. It proves that preserving the pattern of you is ultimately an engineering challenge, not some impossible magic trick.
Which brings us to this final incredibly powerful realization. Death is not the end. It is the interval before coherence returns. Resurrection isn't a supernatural exception. It is simply the universe obeying its own laws of information conservation. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder. If your identity is truly just a stable information pattern waiting for energy to align, then when you look up at the night sky, are you just looking at empty space? Or are you looking at a universe quietly preserving everything that has ever mattered, just waiting for the right moment to reboot?